Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Escapist Indie Showcase post-show day 3. And we are now on this is the last you're going to see of me and Marty today. After this, we're going to go crash hard, and the rest of the showcase is going to be handled by Nick and Casey. But for now, we are here with Danny, and he is going to tell us all about Anvil Saga. Go, Danny.
Yeah, right name. Thank you. So I'm author of Anvil Saga, and supposedly I'm like the only one game designer right now in Anvil Saga. So if you have any questions about game design, I'm also the person who should be asking it, who should be answering it. Yeah. So let's start with a small talk about our team. I represent HeroCraft. Previously, you talked with Vasily. He's actually the head of the publishing. And well, I'm the other part. I'm the producer, and Anvil Saga is developed by Pirajok Studio. And the team consists right now of 3 people. That's Timur. He's the founder. That's his second game, and he's only 21. And he started his first game when he was 15, if I'm not mistaken. And the second person is Evgeny. He's our artist. He's our pixel artist. And the third one is Piotr, and he is our narrative and dialogue designer. So yeah, and if we're talking about me as a part of a team, not as a publishing producer, but as a part of a team, I'm also a game designer right now. But I would say that I design like the core game design document, and like small parts from it we decide all together with the whole team. So it's more of a community decisions about how our game works in like small parts. And to be honest, I joined the team where most of mechanics were basically already made at some point and somehow, and now most parts of my work are just like changing it to the right direction without completely remaking it. So yeah, and I need your questions.
Oh no! So
yeah,
that's great about the team. What's give us the talk on Anvil Saga? What is the game, and so what are we going to be doing when we play it?
Well, Anvil Saga is a management simulator when you have to manage your own smithy. Your smith. Your name is Arthur. You're English. You're from England, and you live in French region in France. And the setting of the game is 100-year war. So you have to find that like thin balance between 2 fighting fractions between French and English, and your region gets occupied by France and England, and sometimes even bandits from time to time, and you can actually help some fractions to get the control over the region. You can somehow your decisions they will change the let's call this modificators which are working right now in the game. So sometimes you can change it through events, through random events. Change it through your plot, the main plot, or like the side quests. But sometimes your decisions will change your whole environment. So some of your decisions can lead to some, I don't know, fire in the woods. Some of your decisions can lead to the destroying of the dump and the overflow of the river. Some of your decisions will cause a great a great celebration of something, and some of your decisions can call the pandemic. So yeah.
It seems
Impressive.
like a lot of a lot of games, it puts you in the shoes of the hero, like the main character, the center of the story. But in this,
That's not true. Yeah,
blacksmith.
that's not true. You're the
Yeah,
blacksmith, and in our game, you're just you're not the direct maker of the not of the decisions, but of the story. You have your own story. Actually, you have your own story, and the story is very personal. On one side of the story, you have and Finley. That's the family of local merchants. And Olivia is basically your love interest. So she's the most beautiful girl in your, I wouldn't say region, but in your village probably. And you're in love with her since your like childhood, pretty much. And
My heart.
but her decision depends on her father and also on the wealth, because that's medieval times, of course. It's just it's a matter of survival to find a good bride or a good husband for your daughter. So, and the second part of the story is you becoming the court smith of the local baron. Because the war is going down, and you have the main antagonist, so-called antagonist. He's not really a bad guy, but it's business. So, and you're both afraid that with the war going down, you won't have as much orders from knights and soldiers, and two smithies in one region just wouldn't be able to survive. And that's why you're fighting for the title of the court smith of the local baron. And that's the second part, like that's the second main goal of the story. But of course, that's, I would say, a long-term story. That's the main plot, the main quest. And from time to time, you'll have some side quests. You'll have some special customers, which you would probably know. Some of them will be pretty familiar. Yeah, we tried to make a lot of Easter eggs, and some of them are pretty obvious. Some of them are not that easy to find, but yeah. And of course, side quests and random events too. Yeah.
What are the sort of decisions you make, or the core gameplay loop that ultimately is what your character does?
Well, you smith. So yeah, you're a smith. You're a smith and you smith. So basically, you're developing your smithy. You add some more rooms. You build some more rooms. You build some routes to start getting the more resources. Not buying it from some merchants. You can just get it directly, like from the so some rooms from the mine. You can make a mine in your basement. Yeah, why not? That's completely accurate historic information. Yeah, and you start to develop it, adding some adding carpenter and some wood crafting, and making it more and more complex from the management side, because you have to manage and you have to deal with more and more orders and more workers, and at the same time you get more profit. So that's basically the standard core loop for management game, but the decisions, yeah. Each story, main story, side story event usually offers you some options, and sometimes that might be an option just to make a good piece of work, or like a mediocre piece of work, or even to refuse from the order. And sometimes there could be something more important, for example, like help a person to to get to the journey or help him to make a good. I don't want to spoil it, so a good place for work at your village, or just refuse to. Refuse is always an option, and every decision would change the environment, and every decision would change the reputation with sometimes with fractions, sometimes with people. And if we're talking about like reputation with fractions, that's one of the most important part of the game too. Because, as I said, you have to always balance between France and England. And to this, like, thin line of balance is added also a faction of bandits. And if you're working with bandits, both English and French people don't like you. And also, apart from them, we have two more side fractions, let's call them this way, the church and the witches. And I think I don't have to explain you why they don't like each other. Yeah. So each order you're making contributes to your faction reputations. If you make orders for French people, you get a reputation with French people, and English people start like loving you less and then hating you. And you have if the faction hates you too much, you have some debuffs, you have some downsides from that. So they may prevent some goods from from the shop, and you can order them. They may spread some rumors about you as a Thmisi, about you as a job as a boss, and you'll have like a tough time finding new workers. And there are lots of buffs and debuffs you can find, and of course, and if Fraction loves you pretty much, they will give you some reasonable buffs to work for them, to work with them. English people can make some dotations to your smithy. French people start loving you more, and soldiers and knights begin to pay you for the orders more, and there are like lots of different options.
Are you envisioning this as the kind of game that folks sort of play through multiple times in order to see, like,
Yeah,
all
we
right,
hope
well,
so.
I did this decision. Now I want to side with the witches this time.
Yeah, we really hope so, because you can get through the main plot, like to get the whole content of the main plot and of every side quest in only one walkthrough. So if you want to experience it all, you have to to play it multiple times, to complete it multiple times, and you have different endings. Yeah.
Interesting. I love the idea that this one of the greatest wars in European history is happening, and meanwhile you have this your whole deal is that you want to get married to your childhood sweetheart. It's kind of
Yeah.
charming. I love it.
Yeah, that's it. Like the war was going for 100 years. So probably in medieval times there were like, I don't know, five different generations that went through it. So the war is going on, and you're a simple smith, so you have to find a decent wife and find a decent job for you. Like make sure your smithy won't suffer. So yeah.
Konege in the chat asks, how much is the game RNG driven set versus sort of set story points?
The RNG, it like the only random thing in game you are getting usually are just events that change modificators, and other parts from the story mode, they're pre-made, they're scripted, but they all have like different options. We're working on the so-called sandbox mode, where you can just miss and like play the style you want, like slower, faster and etc. And it won't make you do something like the plot makes you do something. And this mode, you'll have more random events, and there won't be anything scripted. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, the game it seems like a lot of fun. I really like a lot of the ideas that you guys are playing with, and I also like that it's such a sort of sweet and whimsical visual styling set during like one of the most brutal periods in modern European history. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and also it's pretty tough to find that small amount of space where you can find it where you can make it not too complex and not too difficult. So it will be frustrating for new players who would be, I think, like affected a lot, and who would be like charmed a lot by our art style, and not to make it too boring for the experienced management simulators player. So, and the problem is also that each line of that is different with every player. But we're trying to find that like great balance to make the game comfortable for newcomers and tough enough for management fans. Yeah, for management simulator fans.
Something I hadn't thought of. Does your skill as a smith go up? Because we've been talking about like your alliance with various factions as well, and being able to expand your smithy. But do your skills actually increase? Can you focus on becoming the most skilled? Is that how you get ahead over your rival?
There are different ways of getting ahead. Yeah,
Mhm.
so at some point you can just like befriend with bandits and they'll make everything for you.
Mhm.
But yeah, your skill eventually grows up, and you have skills for almost every activity in the game. For mining, for smithing, for like wood carpentering, and etc. And each activity has its own skill level. And the more your characters, the more your workers concentrate on one skill, on one activity, the more skillful and the better they'll become with it. So yeah, it's also one part of management. It's smart to make your workers like to make them good at one activity, to make that activity more profitable, to make them work faster, better, and more efficient. And also, you have books in our game. Yeah, our smith can read, what is pretty surprising for the medieval times. But yeah, and you can make your workers learn, but you have also a limit for learning. And you should choose pretty carefully the skills you want them to learn in order to so their new skills added from books would work great with their main occupation in your smithing.
Excellent. So Danny, why don't you tell us where people can find Anvil Saga and if they want to play it, and if what time frame you're looking at for a launch? If you're looking at any particular time frame yet.
Yeah, of course. We have a demo on Steam. I don't know, is it available right now, but I think it will be a couple more times before the release. So wishlist our game and wishlist it on Steam. It would help us a lot. It will make us more motivated to finish the game as soon as possible. But we're planning. I won't say the exact date. Let's postpone it. Let's postpone the announcement. But I would say that it will be pretty soon. So expect us like in the nearest half of a year for sure. Like for sure.
very cool.
But Marty, do you have any more questions?
Oh, it sounds great. Looking forward to the game. Whenever you guys finish it.
Me as
Yep.
well. And thank you, Danny, and thank you
Thank
everyone
you
in
very
the
much.
in the
Mhm.
Escapist stream. We are going to go ahead and wrap up for now, me and Marty, and we're going to toss it over to Casey and Nick. And Marty, remind me, what game are they going to be? But I wasn't looking at the schedule past my stuff.
I have no idea. I only wrote down my own schedule, so who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
it's
So,
Half-Life 3. It could be Half-Life 3. Who knows?
oh no, they're going to be talking about negative atmosphere.
Mm.
So, yeah, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to toss it over to Casey and Nick. So, stick around and thank you guys for watching. And thank you, Danny, and go
Thank
wishlist
you.
Anvil
Bye bye.
Saga.